everybody, welcome back to Sew Me Sunshine. It's me, Harriet, here today. You might hear my baby Rose in the background. She's just playing with her toys, but yeah, it might be a little bit noisy. I do apologise for that. And we've got Celia in the studio today doing some admin and packing your lovely orders. Thank you again for all your orders. It means so much to me and the rest of the team. And we've got Jenny who's back doing our filming today. So today is all about our new fabrics that have arrived this month. So it's fabrics for July, and we've paired them with some patterns for you so that you get a bit of sewing inspiration. So the first up is this lovely fabric, and we launched this fabric last week, and if you go onto our YouTube shorts you might have seen this fabric being shown off by Celia, and it's a really beautiful ex-designer fabric that we sourced from Italy. So it's from a high-end ex-designer. It's a really special viscose because it's a viscose jacquard, and all that means is that there's a pattern that's been woven into the background that's quite subtle. You can't see it until it kind of catches the light, which makes it a little bit special. It's got a similar weight and drape to what you find with the viscose twill. So although you've got the light coloured areas here, you wouldn't need to line your garment. So this is a really special fabric because it's got this kind of patchwork design all over it, which I think is really special, really gorgeous, and I've seen a lot in the high street at the moment that is using this kind of patchwork designs. And it was actually Celia that came up with the idea of making some trousers with it, which would be really fun to wear on holiday. And the trouser pattern that we thought of today was the Nina Lee Portobello trousers. I think it'd be really fun. You could have a good play with the different patchwork print on the trousers, and it would be perfect if you're going on a summer holiday. So next up we've got this really beautiful cotton lawn, and it's also an ex-designer fabric, and it's this really beautiful bright red cotton lawn, and then it's covered in this really classic white polka dot design. This cotton lawn, and we've also got it in a navy, are both aquatic certified, and also they are made actually in France. So like I said, they're really, really good, high quality. They're nice and silky to touch. They have what we'd call like a semi-fluid drape, so they have some structure to them. They would work really well for making yourself like a little shirt or a shirt dress. And the pattern that we kind of thought of today, which would work really well, is the factory dress by Merchant & Mills. You could also make it into the top version, but I think as a dress would be really fun. And it's just a slip over your head dress. And yeah, it would look really nice in this beautiful red colourway, but if red's not your thing, like I said, we've got the blue one, which I'll be showing you shortly. So Rose is here now. She wasn't too happy on the floor, so she's going to be in the video today showing you the fabrics. So as I was mentioning with the red polka dot cotton lawn, we've also got it in this really beautiful classic navy blue, and it's covered, it's like the red one, in this really classic polka dot design. As Celia's just mentioned, actually it really just invokes a very vintage kind of vibe, both of these fabrics, and like I mentioned, both of them are architects certified. So obviously you could use this to make yourself a factory as well, or a nice little shirt would work really well in this beautiful cotton lawn. But Jenny picked out the Ravine dress by Paper Cut Patterns. It's a really lovely dress pattern if you look on the drawing at the back. It's got a really clever kind of seam design there, and it would work really well in either the polka dot cotton lawns. So next up we've got this lovely viscose lawn. So it's really nice and soft against the skin, and it's got a fluid drape. It does have a directional print, so if you can see it's kind of like an abstract floral design that's in a stripe design down the fabric, and it's my favourite kind of colour combo at the moment, which is the pinks and the greens. I just think it's really, really pretty. So what I would personally do is pick a garment that you can really incorporate the stripe design, and just to get the most out of the fabric. But bear in mind, because you'll be looking to follow the stripe, you might need a little bit more fabric requirements. So this is completely opaque as well, so you wouldn't have to line it, which is always a win in my eyes. So the pattern that the team put together that they thought would work really well is this beautiful dress, the Ponce by Deer and Doe. Like I said, so what you could do, especially for the skirt, is really use that kind of floral stripe running down the fabric, and I just think it would look really, really good. Something to note with Deer and Doe, unfortunately they're going to stop producing paper patterns, so the paper patterns that we've got in stock at the moment for Deer and Doe, once they've gone we won't be able to restock, sadly. So this is your warning: if there's a paper pattern from Deer and Doe that you've been after, check if we've still got stock of it, and if we do, then I would say go for it before they run out. This is the next fabric for you, and it's perfect for this time of year in the UK, with it getting a little bit warmer outside. This is a Viscose linen blend. So it's my favourite composition for this time of year, because with the linen content it's nice and breathable, but with the viscose it still gives it really nice drape and movement. So it's perfect for making yourself a dress or even a skirt, but you could also, because of the linen content, still make yourself a really nice shirt with it. And especially with the beautiful stripe design on it, you could really take advantage of the stripe direction. If you're making a dress, I personally would maybe do like the bodice in like a horizontal stripe, and then do vertical for the skirt. I think it would look really, really pretty. But we also thought, like I said, would work really well as a shirt. And one of our favourite shirt patterns here at Semi Sunshine is the Archer by Grainline Studio. This fabric is structured enough to make a shirt. You just have to bear in mind with anything that contains linen, you need to make sure you finish your seams properly, just because it is prone to fraying. And actually, because of the viscose content within it, you could actually make this version of the Archer with the gathered back, just because the viscose gives it that little bit of drape, and it would work really well sewn into gathers. So Auntie Celia's looking after Rose because she was being a bit too chatty for me and I was getting distracted. So this is another fabric for you, and it's an ex-designer fabric, again sourced from Italy. It's a really high-end ex-designer fabric. Legally we can't tell you exactly where it's from, but if you have a clever Google search you'll be able to find this one. And what's really special about it, it too is a viscose jacquard. So it's got, like I said with the previous one, it's just got a pattern woven into the background of the fabric. And this pattern is like leaves, so almost like an aquatic leaf design. And if it catches the light, you'll be able to see it, the pattern show up, which I think makes the fabric really special. It's got a really lovely fluid drape, and it's completely opaque. And as you can see, it's a really nautical inspired print. It's got all these ropes all over it and seashells, so it's really pretty, really statement, and I think you could have some really good fun choosing what garment you want to make with it. Now we just thought it would be amazing sewn up as a dress, and a wrap style dress we thought would be really good fun. And the pattern we've chosen today to pair it with is the Cashmerette Rose Claire dress, which we absolutely love this pattern here at Semi Sunshine. We've got both size versions in stock, and we just think this fabric would just make a really beautiful statement piece for this dress design. This is a really beautiful viscose lawn, and as you can see, it's got this gorgeous, like almost like denim blue, pale denim blue background, and it's covered in this pink small floral design. Almost reminds me of like kind of like cherry blossom all over it, which I think is very pretty. It's got a fluid drape, it's lovely and soft against the skin, and it's completely opaque. So like I mentioned, the print is actually quite a small scale, so there's my hand there for scale. This fabric is so versatile, it worked for so many different garments. It would work beautifully as a kind of a floaty blouse, or as a dress that requires a fabric with lots of drape. And the pattern we've paired with it today is one of my faves, and it's the Sudley by Megan Nilsson. So I think it would work really well with the dress version, with the soft gathers at the skirt. It would gather really beautifully, this fabric, and the tie would work really nice as well. Or you could even go for like a contrast tie and maybe pick out like the pink and go for a contrast ribbon tie. Would look really, really statement. So this is a viscose linen, and we actually had this fabric in a blue colourway with you. Well, personally for me, I'm a big fan of green at the moment. So when we saw this green colourway, we thought, well, yes, we must get this one because everyone loved the elephants on the blue colourway. So it's a viscose linen. So like I said earlier, what I love about viscose linen for this time of year, the linen element of it makes the fabric really nice and breathable, but the viscose still means that it's got a nice drape and movement. So it's not like that structured linen fabric that you would get with 100% linen. Now it is slightly sheer because it's got the white coloured background, and as you can see, it's quite a large scale print. If I put my hand next to one of the elephants, it's quite large scale, and also as well you can see it's got a directional print. So it's something to bear in mind when you're thinking about buying the fabric requirements for your chosen garment. So because it's quite a statement print, I personally think it would work really well as a blouse or a shirt paired with some high-waisted jeans. So the pattern I thought of today was the Cali by Closet Core Patterns. You could go for like the tunic length, and it would work really well if you're going on like a beach destination type holiday, or you could go for the crop length top and pair it with some high-waisted jeans, which I think would be really fun and would also transition really well into the autumn season. So we wanted to show off this fabric for you again, just because to stick with the kind of nautical fabrics that we launched last week as part of our most recent dead stock drop. And this one is from the same designer as the one with the rope knots on it and the shells. And as you can see, it too has the rope design and lots of seashells throughout it, as well as like an aquatic plant design. It too is a viscose jacquard with the really subtle design woven into it that you can see when it catches the light, and it's also got really nice drape and movement. And despite it having this cream colour throughout it, it is actually, you wouldn't have to line the fabric, which is perfect. Now, one of the things that I'd be quite tempted to make with it is, as you can see, if I hold it up, it's these large square panels running through it, which we've written on the listing exactly like how big they are, so you can have a look on there. And what I would personally do is take one of the square panels and just hem it to make it into like a little scarf, or you could make yourself into like a little hairband or something like that, or I would use one of the squares to like make myself like a little bag or something, just to really show it off. But it'd make a really good present, just, you know, doing a simple hem and giving it to someone as like a little scarf, I think would be really fun. I know my mum personally would absolutely adore that. But if you were thinking about really making the most of the fabric and making a garment, something with like a loose fitted floaty dress would work really well. You wouldn't want something with lots of darts or seam lines, just because you wouldn't want to break up the print too much. So one of the patterns we thought of was the Wilder by Friday Pattern Company, just because it's got that oversized feel. It would work really well with this fabric, and it doesn't have too many details for it to break up the print. Or you could also hack it so that you didn't took off the bottom tier, for example, and really make the most of the print of the fabric. So this is a cotton from Pigeon Wishes. We've got really excited with their most recent fabrics that they've launched, and this one we loved because of the bright green kind of retro inspired floral design all over it. Just to give you an idea of scale, that's my hand there for scale, so it's not a large scale floral design. It's obviously got this really white background, so it is slightly sheer, so it's something to bear in mind when you're making your garment. You might choose that you want to line it. I personally wouldn't bother and just go for something a little bit oversized. Now, it's not quite as lightweight what you'd imagine from a typical cotton lawn, but it's not as heavy as a cotton poplin. Something in between. And as you can see here, it actually holds its structure pretty well. So you could go for something, for example, that had like statement sleeves, and it would really show off the kind of statement sleeve, because it really what I'm trying to say is that it's got lots of structure, so it'd work really well. But Jenny picked out the square neck top by Friday Pattern Company, which this fabric will work really well for. And she also mentioned as well you could hack it by adding just a simple gathered skirt on it, which again would work really well and would make it into a dress if that's more your thing rather than a top piece. And this fabric would work really well, and like I said again, this fabric would transition really well as being great for this time of year. So this is another ex-designer dead stock fabric for you, and it's from Italy, and this is a really high quality viscose twill. So it's made obviously with the twill weave, so you can feel the slight raised ridges, diagonal ridges from the twill weave throughout it, and it's slightly heavier than what you'd find with a viscose lawn, but it still has that really gorgeous drape that you would expect from a viscose. And it's actually got a really luxurious silky like feel, so it's got almost like a satin like finish to it, so it's really high quality. And as you can see, it's got this beautiful soft pink coloured background, and then it's covered in this rust coloured design, and it too is an aquatic like theme, so it's covered in aquatic plants and sea bubbles and shells, but in a very kind of almost like painterly like effect. And it is a large scale print, so for you to see there, just my hand to give you a bit of scale. Now it officially does have a directional print, but because it's such a large scale print, I think you could get away with not necessarily following the direction, but it's something to bear in mind if you did want to follow it. Obviously you'd need a bit more fabric potentially for the pattern that you chose to make. So we did have it also in a green colourway, and unfortunately that's sold out, and like with all our dead stock, once it sells out, unfortunately we can't restock it, so it's something to bear in mind. And with this, because it's a lovely viscose with a good drape, it worked really well as a blouse or as a dress. Because it's a little bit heavier in weight, you could actually get away with making yourself like some culottes, or even a skirt would work well as well. But we thought what would work really well was the Helmi by Named Patterns. I personally think the tunic length would be really statement in this fabric. It would really show it off, and it would work really well for the warmer weather that we're having at the moment. Thanks for watching everybody. I hope you really enjoyed the video today. Just want to say a special thank you to Jenny and Celia for entertaining little baby Rose today in the studio whilst I was filming, and for also you guys for being okay with listening to her in the background and maybe seeing her in shot as well. It's always a bit of a juggle being a mum and being here at So Many Sunshine, so thank you everybody. I hope you got lots of good inspiration from today's video, and it's made you get excited about sewing something this July. As always, let us know below which fabric's your favourite. We love hearing from you, and let us know what you're looking to sew with it as well. It'd be great for us all to share some inspiration together. I look forward to seeing you soon, and thank you, bye!